Hello and welcome to a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and welcome back to a brand new episode. This week, we're returning to No Gym, No Problem, Part 2. This is going to be covering legs, shoulders, abs again, and then triceps. So, as I went over in the previous episodes, for those who are listening, I shall make the warning right now. A lot of this is visual, so you may want to switch over to the YouTube side of things to be able to get the most out of this episode. But I will try my best to have full descriptive mode on for you from me. What I will be going through is the second half of my work from home workout routine, keeping things simple, keeping things easy to follow, and an all-round, good way of maintaining your body in a good physique, or as good as you can get when working out from home. In this episode, I'll also be covering my normal stretching routine as well. It's quite short, it's quite sweet, it's easy to do as well. We're trying to keep things, as I said, simple and easy to follow. So, starting off for the good habits, as I spoke about in the last episodes, for those who didn't listen to, I would recommend going back to episode 52 and looking at No Gym, No Problem Part 1, which covers back, biceps, abs, and chest. So this is the second half where we cover the other half of the body. You may be wondering why I group these muscle groups together. Well, for legs and shoulders, they are two completely different ends of the body. So when you're switching between the two of them, it's actually quite good because you feel like you've got more energy. So you can, focus on one group, tire it out, and then move on to the second group. And then you can do the same when you're switching between triceps and shoulders as well, because when you're using your triceps, it's a little less shouldery. You can still feel the pinch or feel a little bit of a squeeze when you are using the weights above your head, because it is still using the mobility of the shoulder, but you're still using a different body part, and so it's a lot easier to switch between these three body parts. Abs, I just do with all of them. For me personally, I feel it's quite a core, working the core means that you have a lot of stability, but also for me personally, I just feel like it makes me, I like targeting something that I don't find fun to do. So doing sit-ups and reverse sit-ups and planks aren't fun to do, but I do them because it's that mentality thing. They're also just, it's a simple exercise. They really are. So I'm not going to go through the abs section of this of the sort of like workout regime, because I did that in the last episode. So if you would like to see me describing why I do what I do with abs and with the push-ups, please go to episode 52, because that will save us both a little bit of time. Now, forewarning's gone. What I will explain quickly is the quick succession of the exercises. So I always love starting up with push-ups. They're a great exercise, as I've said before. I'm not going to explain why I do them, but having them in each section of your workout at home is a great way to create consistency in one of these muscle groups, and especially when you're doing bodyweight exercises. Bodyweight exercises you can you reuse and abuse in some way or another. And so here's like a nice little quick, me banging out some push-ups. I'm doing the exact same thing I did last time. The same thing with doing the sit-ups, reverse sit-ups, and planks. As you may see with the push-ups, I know it's a little bit speedier, but with the push-ups, I'm actually increasing my push-ups at the moment. So I'm going from ranges of 20 to ranges of 25. And it's allowing me to progress slowly. I'm hoping to get into that nice 30 mark, and that for me personally is a good sort of area to be in. And the same with planks. I tried the other day how long I timed myself, because one of my friends said, "How long can you do a plank for, Chris?" And I thought to myself, well, 5 minutes, and I did 4 minutes, and I was pretty pleased with that. So my core stability is there, and for those who want to push themselves, do some planks. They're tough, and they're you can just get down and do one right now. So yes. A plank is really good for building out the entire body, and I will recommend them to anybody. Anyway, enough of the abs and the beginning of my workout. We'll start with a little bit of shoulders. So one of the core exercises here is overhead press. Now, when you're watching me on in this clip that I'm placing either I'm below me or I'm in the top right hand corner of the screen, you'll see that there's less stability because I'm standing up. I'm not leaning against anything, and this I probably shouldn't do this. I probably should be leaning up against the giant freezer in the back there and doing these and sitting down to create greater stability. But for me personally, I like standing up. I like doing the overhead press because it really pushes me and makes me feel like I'm getting the most out of getting that full lockout. Now, I've heard advice from people to not fully lock out when you're doing overhead press, and that's fair enough. Yep, you don't need to. You can do them semi and still get some sort of motion in there to be able to build the shoulder. But I like that full range motion. I like going a little bit lighter so that I can still get some reps out of this. And within this section of the workout, I'm starting at around 25 kg, single dumbbell, and then I'm going to work my way down from 25g. I think I did 5 on either side, then I went down to 22 kg, did something like 7 on either side, then went down to 20 kg, did 10 on either side, then went down to 17.5 kg and did another 15 on either side. And I'm just banging them out one after another. And it's key. You can see sometimes when I'm holding my chest for a little bit of stability, and I'm also just enjoying the movement. I am enjoying doing this. Overhead press for me is one of my favorites. It's a little bit of a macho movement, if I'm honest. You know, that whole overhead press, like power. It's a powerful movement. It's a powerful vertical movement, and yeah, I really enjoy doing them. And they've built up my shoulders to, I would say my shoulders are probably my greatest asset. They do seem to provide me with a little bit of broadness across my body, and I would recommend that for anybody looking to build your shoulders as this overhead press. And you'll see the other 2 movements that I do. So the same as in part 1, I have 3 main movements for each body part. As I said earlier, with abs, I'm doing a plank, I'm doing reverse sit-ups, and I'm doing normal sit-ups. With the shoulders, I'm doing an overhead press, lateral raises, and then I'm also doing some upright rows. And I'll explain the upright rows in a minute, because a lot of people who know about fitness will probably go, Chris, why are you doing upright rows? They can really destroy your shoulders. Well, I'm using bands. So you'll see in a second that means I'm less likely to cause any damage to my shoulders for the long term. So I am thinking about long term as well as short term in this, and so I'm trying to be careful. So that's the overhead press. I don't have anything, I probably should be giving you guys some technical information for why you should do the overhead press. I don't have any. I'm just saying that for me it works. And as you can see here, it's really giving me, it's pushing me. I'm building up a sweat. So yes, overhead press. It is. It's one of my favorite movements, and it's a tough movement. It's tough to increase. It's tough to get that extra kg of weight on top of you, especially when you're trying to get those reps out and build that muscle mass and get some hypertrophy in there and get the blood in the muscle. So next, we're moving on to a leg movement to split things up a little bit. The leg movement here is, of course, a squat. For those who've watched my Jocko Willink episode, you'll fully know that I'm not doing barbell squats because I don't have a barbell with me. But what you will see here is within my legs, the use of a dumbbell, where I've got both hands cupped around the dumbbell, and then I am just not using any upper body strength. I'm just trying to use the full core, sort of like push down and use my legs to lower myself down and then go back up. And I don't think I'm trying to use too much explosive movement here. I am trying to use full range of motion and go down and get that full squat. For me personally, I have seen that for me there is a big difference in my leg size since not using heavier weights for legs. My legs are definitely on the smaller side since working out from home, and you may find that if you too just purely work out from home and are just doing leg movements at home here. But the good thing is that I've actually built more definition on my legs since using more reps and lighter weights. So it's a bit of a trade-up. You can have massive legs when you're working out from the gym, or you can work out from home. I'm not saying they're like one or the other. It's not black and white. You don't go to the gym and not get any hypertrophy. Of course you get hypertrophy and some definition built on your legs. But for me personally, the squat is a great way to build up a sweat as well. It's one of these movements that is it's powerful, it's tough to do, it's not something that's going to be like, I feel like I want to do more afterwards. As you can see here, I'm holding a 25 kg weight. I do the first 20 with 25 kg and the second 20 with 22 kg. Again, it's not a lot of weight there. It's just what I'm working with at the moment. And it is what it is. I think for me personally, I'm looking forward to getting back into the gym and building my strength up for the squat, because I feel like just having a 25 kg weight and just doing that isn't great at the moment. But as you can see there, I'm using full range of motion. I am using some strength as well, core strength, where I'm tightening my abs to be able to lower myself down, and I'm breathing as I'm going. Remember to breathe, guys. That's a big one, is breathe. What I do is normally I'm breathing in through my nose and then I'm exhaling through my mouth to really get that and normally what I'm doing is on the way up I'm breathing in, and then on the way down I'm breathing out, but whatever works for you and whatever you feel is going to get the best reps. What I have tried to do recently is, since I got this new weight set, I've been trying to slowly increase the weight for me. Slowly increase it over time, and not every week is going to be an increased week, but I am going to slowly try to increase reps. I am going to slowly try to increase the weight, and slowly get that progressive overload going from the weights. And then by the time I am back in the gym in January, we will be going for even greater gains from there. So my advice at the moment when working out from home, when it comes down to squats, it is to try and get that as many reps as you can to continue to build that hypertrophy. So, moving on to standing calf raises. And as you can see, these are the back of my calves, those tiny calves. All the calf memes being played at all times right now. So what I'm doing is I'm just cupping the dumbbell to my chest, to the upper of my chest, similar to how I'm holding it for the squat. And I am standing on those tippy toes, trying to push up for as long as I can and really try and contract the calf muscles going up. And for me personally, now that I'm watching this recording back, I'm like, oh no, my calves, they're not as big as I thought they were. And it's a game for me personally, because of the running as well. My calves are, I wouldn't say they're small, but they're not massive either. And I think when you do cardio and you are doing sort of like running, your calves do get used, but not enough to make a massive difference. And so I do still continue to do the calf sort of muscle building techniques to try and improve that. And as you can see here, I'm doing it in reps of 20 to really get that out and to maximize the calf gains. I've just realized I'm actually not holding the weight to my chest there. I'm lowering it a bit between my legs and lowering it down, which probably makes it a little bit easier to maintain the reps on this one. So yes, maybe to make it harder you could hold it up, but that's probably using upper body strength rather than using your calves. So maybe lower the weight down a little bit just to make it that much harder for pulling up your calves. Anyway, that's enough calf talk. We're all slowly but surely descending into calf madness. So this is the final leg movement, which I love. And you may say, Chris, you're insane. This is not something to love, but I do love this movement, and it's just, yeah. I don't know why. But yeah, these are leg extensions, sort of really tough single leg extent. Why am I saying leg extension? I can't remember the name of the movement off the top of my head. I have to look this up now. Otherwise, I'm going to look silly on camera. Oh my god, what is going on? Leg extension? No, it's like leg extension. Give me 2 seconds, guys. No, not extension. No, because leg extensions is rolling it up. What am I talking about? I know it. It's farmer. It's not. It's like farmer lunges. It's like It's something. Farmer lunges. It must be farmer lunges. Farmer lunges. Because like you've got farmer walks, and then it's like farmer lunges. Let me have a look. It could just be called leg lunges. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I'm like doing a single farmer lunge. There's another name for it, but I will go with. I'm going to stick with farmer lunges for now. But anyway, back to the movement. As you can see here, I am going for single legs. So I'm targeting one leg at a time. I'm doing 10 reps on each side, one at a time, and I'm switching between them. And it's an intense movement. I'm not going to lie. You can see that I'm trying to. What I do, I don't know if this can be seen on camera for those listening. With my hand, I'm not actually using my thumb on that. I'm trying to allow the weight to be used by my lower body. I'm putting my knee to the ground and I'm raising it up and down as I'm in a lunged movement. And so in this lunge movement, as I raise it up and down, you can feel the burn in that upper bit of your thigh, and it is just a killer. And when you're doing them, and you do them in sets of 10 across each, like it's like a total of 40 reps for one set. But because you're splitting it up into two, it feels like 20 reps on each. It's 20 reps on each leg, and so you're really hitting that moment when you're getting that burn. And so that's why I use it as the last sort of exercise for the legs, because it's just a burner and it's great to have in when you're doing 2 giant sets for your entire for these 3 different body parts, and it's a great stabilizer as well for your core. Again, a great movement and all round fantastic for building the leg muscles up. I can't believe that I forgot the name of the leg movement that I was doing and called it a leg extension. I'm so sorry. So moving on to a different exercise altogether. This is the first tricep movement. So these are tricep extensions. This is an overhead tricep extension, to be specific. I am getting both hands underneath the dumbbell, 25 kg as well for this one for the first set, and moving down to 22.5 kg for the second set. As I'm doing this in a circuit base where I do one giant set and then followed by another, it's good because you can wear your triceps out with this movement quite quickly. And it's quite difficult to do. So I do 10, and then I will do another 10 afterwards. And it's normally broken up by some upright rows normally, just because of the intensity of having 25 kg over your head and you trying to get 10 reps out of it and get those triceps burning. And so it's one of those movements that isolates the triceps. It is. It's quite, if you are going heavier in the weight, it is a little bit dangerous because obviously you've got to have full grip of that dumbbell. Otherwise you could drop it, could hurt yourself, all of these things. So be careful and try not to get ego lifting in there, and try and get that full control of the movement. So tricep extensions can be done in many ways. You'll see in a minute I do them as well with banded tricep extensions to maximize the size of my triceps. With the overhead single dumbbell tricep extension, it's more of a strength thing than a hypertrophy, and so by having the 25 kg, I feel like I'm increasing my strength a little bit at a time without being excessive, without going over the top for someone of my size. So, overhead tricep single dumbbell extension, fantastic when you have a dumbbell at home. So, moving on, as I've mentioned before, the good old banded upright rows. Like I said earlier, these are great when you're not using dumbbells or a barbell because you can get full range of motion. You're not hurting your shoulders too much. You're not getting that crunchy shoulder, as I call it, when you can really hurt your shoulders in this sort of movement. But you are building shoulders with this, and you can get those reps out and get 20 in a row. And for me, I'm using all 5 of my bands for this. I think it's 50, 60 pounds worth of sort of weight, they say, with the all these bands combined together or something along those lines. I don't even know what that is in kg. It's probably like 20 or 22, but it's great. It's great for that range of motion, and once again, when you're doing lots of them, it really builds up a sweat. And for me personally, I think that it starts to build up the sort of blood in the shoulder, and you get that veins across here, so nice aesthetic look, and it also just helps get a bit of a lighter work, sort of like lighter exercise between heavier exercises. When you're doing the overhead tricep extension, you can put this in, and then you can go back to doing 10 sets, the other set of 10 for the tricep extension. So, moving on to the final shoulder movement, I've got the lateral raises here. So, lateral raises for me are they're just tough, and I find that if you're using a dumbbell, they're even tougher because you feel like you're not getting if you go too light, it's just up, down, down. But if you do too heavy, you're not getting the full range of motion, and you are getting it up, but you feel like you're really trying hard to get heavier, and it can become ego lifting from there. So for me, when it comes down to a sort of like lateral raise, I'm using bands because I feel like I'm getting a nice sort of pull, and I can adjust my feet so I'm getting more tension on the band, which means that I'm getting more having to use a little bit more strength, and if I'm feeling like I can't get that rep out, and you might see on the screen as I'm doing these, is that I will move my feet to be able to adjust that tension on the band to be able to get more reps out and to be able to finish off the set. The lateral raise is a fantastic exercise for building shoulders. It's a real killer when you are combining it with tricep extension, banded tricep extension. So I'm doing 10 reps on each arm and then switching over to the overhead tricep extension with the bands and working at different muscle groups to be able to basically tackle 2 birds with 1 stone. And you'll see here on the screen as well, the overhead tricep extension banded version is a killer as well, because I'm having my arm at like a sort of like right angle up here, and I'm moving it up and down, and as you move it up into that full range of motion, you are pulling on your own weight and the band because you're standing on the band, and you have, as you allow it to go back down and uncoil, and you pull it back up, you're feeling that squeeze in your tricep. And even without the band now, I'm doing it on camera, you can still feel the contraction of the tricep with the band. And it's a fantastic movement for feeling the movement and also feeling like you are really isolating those triceps. So a combination of lateral raises with triceps are a real good way for you to just focus on these 2 core movements. And as you can see there, for me personally, you can start seeing that blood in those shoulders really picking up, and my triceps, the muscle for the triceps and the gap between the bicep and the tricep really kicking in there, and it has a great effect, I can tell you right now. Sometimes what I will do is I'll group these into 3. So for instance, I might do a farmer lunge with overhead tricep extension and then an upright row banded extension to be able to mix things up. And then I'll have the lateral raise with the tricep extension and then the squats. And then I'll be doing the overhead press and the calf raises together to be able to make things a little bit easier, because you can go from a heavy exercise to a lighter exercise to find yourself being able to last longer. And maybe if you've done 2 giant sets of 20 for each exercise, you can add in that extra 10 like I've done with the back, biceps, chest and abs no gym, no problem episode as well. You're seeing there. And you can see that I am going full throttle with this. There's a lot of sweat built up from doing these exercises. Leg exercises, I do consider them really tough. And shoulder exercises are exactly the same. And triceps, for me, they're a joy to do. I think the fact that because I'm doing chest on the other days as well, I'm activating those triceps anyway. So it can be a little bit of a double trouble. You're hitting them too much. Thankfully, because I'm only doing 4 gym days per week and then 3 other cardio days, running days, then it's a nice, they're broken up and I'm not overdoing it with that. So if this episode does well, like the last one, I will cover my running, my cardio exercises, my running, and we'll see how that goes as well, and see if you, the viewer and the listener, enjoy hearing about the sort of cardio side of things and improving your cardiovascular system, because this is a lot of macho movement of working out from home. And I can promise you, in the new year, when I'm back in the gym, I will try and make some gym movements. Gym movements. I will be recording in the gym and showing what I do there as well, because I feel like I can really put on some muscle and some size when I'm back in the gym and I've got access to maximum equipment, because these are fantastic for maintaining, fantastic for keeping that definition, keeping your six-pack going, keeping your chest at a good size, and building those shoulders and building those triceps from beginner to intermediate. But I think to go from intermediate to advanced, you do need access to a gym on a regular basis. And for me personally, I'm still intermediate, and I will be intermediate for the next, what am I in? I'm in year 3 or 4, so it's probably until year 6 that I'll still be intermediate, maybe 7. And then from 7 to 10, we'll try and go into some advanced mode. So, this journey never ends. It's never an ending journey, even though I've said 7 to 10 there. There'll be from 10 to 20 to 30, 40, and so on and so forth. You just have to adjust and dive on. Now, here's an exciting part. As I said earlier, I've never covered stretching, but I talk a lot about it on this podcast. I talk about how important it is, how you need to do it to be able to maximize your recovery and to be able to continuously work out. I work out 7 days a week. I would not be able to work out 7 days a week if I didn't stretch and if I didn't use good foods, sleep, and have a good balance of minerals and vitamins and all-round healthy eating. That will be another thing I will try and cover. I will go into what I eat in a day at some point to be able to sort of show the 90% battle is the diet. 90% of the battle is in the diet. This is only 1 hour of your day. If you give me an hour of your day, I'm going to make you look great. But if you have a crap diet, it's going to be an uphill battle, I can tell you that. And you can do as much running and as much weightlifting as you want. But if you are just eating, 3,000 calories and you're 180 pounds or 83 kg in that case, it's going to be a real tough case for you. And I would recommend, for those who are, really interested in this, in the fitness side of things, go work things out for yourself, but also be very vigilant on the diet side. Working out here is the basic movements. They're basic, and as I've showed here, they're all very simple, apart from the naming conventions, of course, when it comes down to a farmer's lunge, as we found out. Once you've got past these movements, once you've repeated them over and over again, they become part of you, and it's very easy to continue from there. It's the maintaining the diet consistently for a long period of time to be able to do that. And having a balance and being able to not feel guilty when you're eating foods from time to time, but at the same time keeping an eye on your weight and making sure that you're not going crazy on the scales. So make sure you're thinking about that. Anyway, back to the mighty stretching. Stretching is really important. These movements, a lot of them I've nicked from yoga. Yoga is fantastic. Shout out to Yoga with Adrian. She's amazing. She's got what inspired me to continue to do yoga to this day. If I have had like quite a while of a pain somewhere, or I'm struggling with back problems or anything like that, I don't normally have that issue anymore because of these stretching movements. But if I feel like I need to, I will do yoga as part of my routine. I will do like 20 minutes of yoga, maybe twice a week, depending on how things are going and how much running I'm doing. Because running can build up a lot of lactic acid, and I don't find my gym routine is so intense that it causes injury. So it's normally my running. And so you'll see here, I'm doing a lot of lower back exercise, and that's so that I make sure. So this one here, the Cobra, for those who are yogis, you'll know the Cobra, and that is to hold yourself upright, and you're stretching that core as well as that lower back, and you're also using a little bit of your arm muscles there as well to keep yourself up. And I do that for around a minute, and it makes sure to really get that squeeze. And it's not intensive, but it is a great feel when you feel your abs and your lower ab areas feeling stretched out, and that's going to continuously allow you to hit abs on a regular basis. And at the same time, you're stretching out your lower back as well. So that's also a killer. And I'm going to show in a minute as well that this is followed by a couple of other movements that are going to targeting that lower back, because it is a vulnerable area. Like any of the other muscles in your body, it is one that can, if you're, for instance, a heavy squatter, you will find that one day your back is going to give out because you're putting such heavy loads on it. So these are great movements for lower back as well as stretching the entire body. And the next one is followed by the child pose. Child pose is a fantastic movement for the entire body. You're stretching your legs, you're stretching your lower back, you're stretching your upper back, you are stretching outwards and feeling that squeeze of your lats as well, and you're just having a moment there to really feel connected with yourself and with your entire body. And I'm doing that for another minute as well. This whole stretching routine is around 5 minutes. It's really easy to do. I do it in every single out of my 4 gym sessions, I do it in every single one afterwards. And so simple to do and simple to follow. As for those listening, child pose, please look it up. Cobra, please look it up as well. It's the Cobra's like it says. I am doing a Cobra where I am pushing my chest up into the air. My hands are on the mat, and I've got my legs flat on the ground behind me. And I'm staring into the sky, allowing myself to be able to stretch out the abs. And then with the child pose, I have my legs on the ground in a seated position with my bum against my heels, and then I have my hands on the floor stretching out forwards with my head between my hands on the ground. And normally I'm just like in this sort of sleepy state where I've just done this tough sort of regime of exercises, and so this is nice to wind down and allow myself to cool down as well. And so this child pose is followed by I would say the most important stretch. This is where I am stretching my sort of lower back, I'm stretching my hip flexors, and I am having my legs in a 90-degree angle and switching them from left to right in order to be able to basically stretch out my lower back. And sometimes if I've felt like I've been sat at a desk all day, I will be really, really clicky. I'll be clicking that lower back because of the tension in there, because I've been sat upright all day. And so it's very much so a level of tension that can build up in your lower back when you are just sat at a desk all day. And so, flexing those muscles in your hips and in the sort of like hip flexing muscles is going to really help you if you do cardio as well, and it's going to help you just feeling less tight. This is followed by the basically knees to chest exercise, knees to chest, just again pulling them in, stretching, grabbing it all and stretching that lower back, as well as sort of stretching your legs and your arms. Again, this is a serious lower back one which I use, and it's just great. It's just an all-round fun exercise to just finish off the stretching. And so that's my stretching routine, guys. That simple as that. There's no, knees to chest is real simple. You do that for around a minute. You're doing your hip flexors. You're doing your Cobra. You're doing your child pose. I'm sure I could throw in a couple of others. When I do from time to time, I'll also do some lunges where I'm pulling in to be able to allow my legs to stretch out as well. If I'm feeling like I need to get my calf stretched, I will put my hands after a run against my wall, and I will push against it and squeeze out the legs. And that can be a really good way in order to be able to, after I would always say to stretch after a workout, just so that your muscles are still warm and they're not cold, and you're not going to try and injure yourself. And you can do this so that you can maintain this intense regime of working out every single day and not getting injured. That's the main thing, and still having fun with it and really enjoying it. And as you can see, when I'm posing down after all of these working out, I've got the blood rushing through. I've got the ability to tense up and squeeze the abs and basically realize like all the hard work pays off and the aesthetic is still there. And, that's always nice as well. But the main thing is enjoying your workout, maintaining the ability to enjoy that workout and stay healthy. And then also just having a little bit of fun along the way and figuring out which exercises work for you. So, this has been a great way for me to show the second half of my exercises. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed seeing the movements that I do to be able to maintain the other side of my body. And hopefully you can utilize them yourself if you feel like you want to hit those legs and hit those shoulders and hit those triceps and hit those abs. This has been a Taylor's Tales podcast. This has been Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor. And as always, I'll see you this time next week. Bye now.